No, ma'am, I do not recommend that video. What's happening? It's Eric J. Olson. Back when I was in high school, when my dad retired from the Air Force, he ended up opening a VCR videotape recording. So VCR or videotape shop. So if you don't even know what I'm talking about, if you weren't around back in those days, that's what came before things like Netflix and came before things like DVDs. There were actual tapes, and you would go into a video store and rent a video. That was the thing back then. He ended up having two video stores, and during the summers and sometimes actually like nights and weekends, I would work at the video store. So this is back in my high school days. I would work at the video store, and that continued through college. And there were a lot of lessons that I learned by working there. And one of them, the biggest lesson learned, was you need to be truthful with customers. So when I first started working there, naturally when I, had the shirt on and I was out on the floor or behind the counter, people would come up to me and they'd be like, "Hey, is this video any good? Was this movie any good?" And they want my opinion. And so, like in that particular situation, you have a decision to make. On the one hand, if I say, "Yeah, it was great," whether I watched it or not, whether I liked it or not, then they're probably likely to actually rent the movie and we can make a little bit of money, right? If I tell them the truth, if I'm like, "Oh, that was a terrible movie," then guess what? They're not going to rent it. And so there's a risk. There's a risk about you may lose a sale if you tell someone your honest opinion and basically the truth about whatever it is that they're wanting to buy from you or rent from you in this case. But so, I started off by saying yes to everything. And then I realized that that just wasn't cool. Like, that's not the right approach. And so I very quickly, like within a matter of a day, I changed my approach and I realized I need to start watching more videos, by the way. So my homework was like take home 2 or 3 of these videos every single night and watch videos. I watched a lot of videos for a long time, but I got to know the videos. And then I would give my honest opinion. So what I didn't realize until, a little while into this new strategy of telling the truth when it comes to people asking your opinions about what they want to buy or rent from you was that it doesn't have to be, a yes or no situation. Like they either rent it or they don't. Because you could say that movie was terrible. You may like it, but I didn't like it. I like these kinds of movies. So you can frame it the way that you want. Now, if they align with what you're looking for, like your own perspective or your own sense of what style or genre that you like, then cool. Now you've got something in common, and then you could give them your recommendation. Oh, in that genre, the genre that you and I both like, I would go for this movie. Have you watched that movie? No, you haven't. Check out this one. This one was awesome. So you redirect them, right? So you don't have to say no, that movie sucked. Don't rent anything. Don't say that. Say, I didn't like that movie. You may like it. I didn't like it, but I would recommend this one. And guess what? When I made a recommendation, again, I'm a little high school or junior, senior in high school. I would make a recommendation about a movie, and 9 times out of 10, they would rent that movie. And I'd also, I got to the point where I would ask them a couple of questions. What kind of movies do you like? What were the last 5 movies that you loved? What movies didn't you like? Are there any actors that you like? And I would start to get like a kind of a profile built up in my head about what they kind of liked. Think about the Netflix recommendation algorithm. I was trying to do that in my head many, many years ago, but it worked. I'd ask a couple questions. I'd find out what they liked. I'd make recommendations. And usually it turned out to be a good recommendation for them because I asked the questions that I needed to ask. So, look, when someone comes to you now and they're asking if something is a fit for them, tell them the truth. If someone comes to us and they're like, "Hey, we want to get a website from you," and I know that they're not a fit, I know that they can't afford it, or I know that we just can't really help them that much, I'll tell them. I'll tell them, "Hey, you should go check out Wix. Go check out Weebly. Go check out GoDaddy, Square. There's hundreds of places you can build your own website for like $5 or $20 at the most a month. Go do that. Get that up and running. Get your business up and running. Then come back and talk to us when you're ready." That builds respect, right? People want the truth. That's why they're asking for your opinion. Always give people your honest opinion. And especially when they ask for it, you have immunity. You can tell them the truth, but also think about redirecting them to where they should be going.